Welcome to Season 2 of Mini Videos! Yes, that's right, we now have seasons for mini videos. As punishment for the last mini video going over the 10-minute mark, you don't do that! I put you in a box. I put you in a box now. That's where you go in a box now. And don't you worry, the Season 3 finale is still on the way, but that's not why you're here. You are here to hear the best albums I heard in the year 2023. I nailed it. Now in 2022, I played a lot of video games, but in 2023, I was a little busy. I didn't play as many video games as I should. I'll be put in a box later. However, I have listened to a poop ton of albums. Yes, that's right, a poop ton. Boom! These are all the albums I listened to last year. Boom! These are all the albums I heard for the first time last year. Probably be easier just to see all the albums I haven't heard for the first time last year. Boom! And doing this, I have listened to almost 200 albums. Front to back, my Spotify Wrapped would concern you. But only 10 could be my favorite, so they had to fight hard. And we're only counting albums that I heard for the first time in their entirety last year. And by the way, I didn't major in music. This is no way an official decree of me saying these albums are the best. Screw these albums. This is just a collection of albums that stood out to me, and I think that you should check them out if you haven't. And be sure to list your top 10s in the comments as well. I need album suggestions. But alright, number 10, 3 Feet High and Rising by De La Soul. Yeah, we're starting off old school with this 1989 Golden Age classic hip-hop album. Now, rather than taking the more in-your-face, aggressive, hardcore hitting approach that the West Coast of rap was doing in the late 80s, with rap groups like NWA and Public Enemy, De La Soul at the time was more, the complete opposites, bringing a more laid-back, pretty peaceful approach, but still tackling very important issues and bringing in some street knowledge, and doing it with a ton of personality. This album is guaranteed to put you in a good mood. Some of the highlights for me would have to be The Magic Number, Change and Speak, I Know, and Me, Myself, and I. Very much an important album for hip-hop, especially with its jazz sampling, witty humor, and catchy flows. If you love rap and want a great album to start you off exploring what's considered the golden age of rap, this is a great album to start with. SOS by SZA. Now this album is the definition of beauty in darkness. This is a very depressing, aggressive, yet glossy, heavenly, gorgeous album with a perfect cover to describe the tone and the themes of the album. To finding peace with yourself after getting out of many toxic relationships she describes throughout the album. She also has this reverb effect to her voice that actually sounds like she's in the middle of the ocean just singing her lungs out. Highlights on this album include, of course, Kill Bill, Blind, and Forgiveless, featuring the one, the only, Old Dirty Bastard. You know, Dirt McGirt from Wu-Tang. This album is wild.
The less said about them, the more quickly they wear off.
Boom! That is the only way I can describe this album. I'm pretty much done. Just kidding! It is so in your face. It is so aggressive. Denzel Curry is an absolute maniac on all of these tracks, coming in at a whopping 17-minute beatdown on your freaking eardrums. I'm sorry, this album just gets me pumped every time I listen to it. And Denzel really wears his inspirations on his sleeves, to the MF Doom-like skits, the Wu-Tang-like energy, the DMX-level aggression. Like seriously, go to the 40-second mark on the song Diet and tell me that's not just DMX. It's just DMX. It's a setup. You can't fool me. It's almost as if he treats his inspirations as if he's acquiring or just unlocked their powers. I love the cartoony violence. Kenny Beats' production is just insane. I love the sound effects that he puts in a lot of these songs. I just love how fun this album is. It's only 17 minutes, but the journey it takes you on makes it feel so much longer in the best way imaginable. Listen, just go listen to the album before you get one shot to the brain. If I were to describe this album with one word, it would be the word theatrical. Because listening to any of Little Sim's beats and song structures on this album is like listening to a freaking movie, with their vivid storytelling and illustrious instrumentals made by producer Inflo, both of which being on songs like Woman, a gorgeous song about women empowerment, I Love You, I Hate You, an emotional roller coaster about Little Sim's personal feelings towards her father being absent for a majority of her life, and Little Sim's being very vulnerable vulnerable and personal is a trend throughout this album. It really feels like it's a journey she's taking both herself and the listener on to try and find her place in this world and find self-love and be happy with yourself. And she should be happy with herself because she has made something truly special and grand. You know, sometimes I might be into dirt as well. Wait, why is that the name now? Why is that? YOLO! Maybe in Another Life by Easy Life. Probably the most underrated hidden gem my ears have ever had the pleasure of hearing. The production on this thing is so crisp. The harmonies and the melodies are so full of glamour and beauty. Just so much personality with these catchy, popping beats. And I hope you take the time to listen to it. But hey, if you don't, maybe in another life, you know? You're gonna listen to it. Do it! Do it! I'm blue. The Blue Album by the Weezers. Hello, I'm Basic. If you were to ask me, what is an absolute timeless rock album that can be listened to by anyone and they will be sure to enjoy it, this would be the album that immediately comes to mind. With its joyous, anthemic, delicious guitar production, with songs like My Name is Jonas, which has a section at the end where I believe Rivers Cuomo decides to rock harder than any SpongeBob SquarePants performance I have ever seen. And the album's extremely catchy melodies on songs like pretty much every song on here, but if I had to pick, I'd say like Buddy Holly, Say It Ain't So, In the Garage, Only in Dreams. This album is iconic, and it's for good reason. They may call the Weezers a nerdy rock band, and they're right, but no, you listen to it. Damn it! I wonder what to put here. Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand, with an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance, and clap their hands. And just because a man lacks the use of his eyes doesn't mean he lacks vision, are probably the wisest words Stevie Wonder ever said, and has only gone to prove those very statements with his music, coming in at 21 songs at almost 2 hours in length, and somehow still making an album that has no misses, while writing, producing, and playing most of the instruments himself, which is, let me just check my notes, freaking insane. Stevie's outlook on life is just so positive and joyful. It's infectious, and it shows in his writing, like his love letter to music on Sir Duke, or his love letter to his daughter on Isn't She Lovely, naming her Aisha after the Arabic word for life, bringing an ulterior meaning to the album's title, which is so beautiful and so lovely. And that's not even mentioning that this bad boy even has Pastime Paradise, which without we wouldn't have Gangster's Paradise, or Amish Paradise, or the soundtrack to the original Sonic trailer, in which without, the universe would implode. I rest my case, I rest my case. The Forever Story by JID. JID, or Jid, has probably the greatest flow I've ever heard from a modern rapper, period. The way he can ride any beat like a wave, switching up his flows and beats on a whim, but he's not just technical, his albums also have substance, with The Forever Story being pretty much a sequel to Jid's first album, The Never Story, which tells the story of Jid's personal life and upbringing, and how he found success to be unlikely for him, while The Forever Story talks about Jid's experience with success, kinda like how Biggie did the same with albums like Ready to Die and Life After Death, with songs like the stunning, powerful Cody Blue 31, which talks about Jid's willingness to never give up and strive for success for his family. It's an extremely inspiring and beautifully moving album that slows down and speeds up when it needs to and never misses a beat.
Where are the toxins? We're what got removed!
Toxicity by System of a Down. Now, I talked a lot about albums being beautiful, but now we're gonna look at the ugly, the unfiltered, the toxicity of the world that this album does an incredible job putting a spotlight on. With an album that unfortunately stands the test of time, with subject matter that is still relevant to this day. From towards peaceful protesters on songs like Deer Dance, to how we're failing this planet's environment on songs like Forest, ATWA, and Science. Toxicity shows and tells it all, with head-banging, fist-pumping production, hard-as-nail guitar riffs, and infectious melodies, with a deep, thought-provoking message on almost every song, and probably the most eloquent, expressive, passionate frontman in metal history. Toxicity is a near-perfect album that can be both subtle and brutally honest, silly and dead serious, and in my opinion, the best metal album ever made. And it's not even the #1 spot? What could that be? By Common. Be by Common. Common, B by freaking Common, is an absolute masterpiece of an album, with multiple messages and meaning towards its name, like be yourself, be in the moment, be whatever you want to be. Now it is produced by Gross and Goats, but the instrumentals are amazing. And now the first song, which is also called B, is the best song on the album in my opinion, but that does not mean that it's all downhill from here. If anything, it's more like masterpiece to fantastic. We also got songs like Testify, which is one of the greatest examples of lyrical storytelling. It's about a man who is about to be sentenced to death, while his wife pleads for his innocence on the beat and the chorus. And the many twists and turns that the song takes you on is truly chilling. I will never forget the first time I listened to this song, and I will never forget the first time I listened to this album. Everything a rap fan can love about rap is in this album. It has a great poetic message, it has vivid storytelling, it has catchy flows, hooks, and choruses. Its instrumentals are so memorable, fun, and eccentric. It's not only one of the greatest rap albums of all time, it's one of the greatest albums of all time, period. And finally, in conclusion, if I have to leave you guys with one more note, it's just to listen to these damn albums, you turds. And would you look at the time? We went way over the 10-minute mark. Oh crap, not the box, not the box. Oh no!